Hi, I'm Naim from Carla Crafts, and today I'm going to show you how to crochet with 0.3 silver wire to make a beaded bracelet. This is snowflake obsidian, one of my favourite stones. It's actually made from volcanic glass. And the white inclusions are as it cools, so it's quite interesting. Now to start, you use really thin wire. This is 0.3 mil, but you can go up to about 0.4, but it needs to be thin so that it's bendy. And you have to pre-thread the beads. I know that that is a little tedious, but it's just part of it. Okay, so you thread a few beads on. I would say more than you need, because unfortunately you can't put them back on again at the end. So always put on more than you think you're going to want. Okay, then to start with, you make a loop with your finger. And instead of doing a normal crochet loop, you would actually just do a little knot at the end and then twist the wire. Crocheting with wire is a little bit different because you have to allow for the fact that it won't tighten like a crochet would. I'm using a 3 mil hook, but you can use a smaller hook if you'd rather. The technique is the same, but you're using a slip stitch for most of it because anything more than a half treble is just too much twisting and the wire will snap on you. So, same as normal. Whoop, if I can get it untangled. So you'd pull through like you would for a normal chain. And then you pull through again. Just get a couple to go with, then pull up a bead. Ooh. And what you do is you crochet around the bead and then pull through. So then your bead is sat just on the outside like a little adornment. Then 1, 2, and then get another one. Now to do a bracelet, you don't want to go too far because you can make it like a cuff and it'll actually make quite a dense pattern even though the wire is quite thin. Stay. Okay, so 2 and back round again. You can use any beads for this. If you've got a small enough crochet hook and a big enough hole in the bead, you can thread through the bead if you want to. But it is tricky, especially if the beads are not actually drilled straight, which does happen, unfortunately. So we keep going all the way. Oh, this is like the world's rubbish roller coaster. Come on. No. Slight problem with wire is sometimes it gets stuck. There we go. There we go. So you keep going until it's the length that you want it to be, and you can test that on your wrist, obviously. Or if you're making a panel necklace, you can keep going up and down as you would any sort of row, doing squares. Forgot me bead, forgot me bead. I'm going to bring them all down, it'll be easier for me later. So, there are some beads that you have to be, gemstones specifically, that you have to be a bit careful with for using for jewellery. They're quite soft. Things like opal is quite delicate and is also absorbent in water. So anything like that you wouldn't be able to use if you were doing any washing up or in the shower. Things that are quite hard and quite good to use are things like the obsidians. Aventuриne's quite a nice green. There's also things like labradorite, which has a beautiful shimmer on it, and they're quite good for giving you a bit of shiny colour. But you can use whatever favourite gemstone you like, and they come in nearly all the colours, so I'm sure you can find one that you prefer. Right, let's check the width. Oh, nearly there, nearly. Right. So you keep going to the end, and as you can see, it's actually making quite a nice fine pattern, and then your gemstones are dotted along as you go. Right, so I'm going to turn and carry on and do the next row. So you want to do an extra chain because you're turning, and then you want to hook into the loop just as you would with normal crochet. It's just a little bit trickier. Right, so, oh, come here you, right. So slip stitch again, get a gem, so we can chain 2, and then what we'll do is, to make it a bit more of an open pattern, we'll attach it as we go. So we've got one there that's dotted, and we'll alternate across. More wire, more wire. Uses a lot more wire than you think. Now sterling silver wire is quite soft, so you want to be careful with that. Right, 2. It is quite soft and can break quite easily, so just be careful of that. And you keep going. Now I can show you that that's made like a latticey pattern across now. So that's quite nice. There's a bit more of an open pattern. Whoops. You could also do it as 2 full strands and just bend them over, because it is very flexible. And that way then you'd have a completely different look again. So it is quite a versatile thing. Just remember to always put your beads on first. And I am not 100% certain that I have got enough beads on. So you see, even I can do it wrong. We'll get to as many beads as I've got, and then I'll show you how to cast off. I think that's my best plan. Right, so right, I've only got 2 more after this, so we're going to have to stop or whatever. Not too far from the end. Could be worse. Right, so to cast off, what you do is, using some jewellery snips, you snip the wire off at the end. Then, as you would normally, you cast off by pulling through the wire and pull it tight. But obviously the wire is quite sharp at the end, so what you need to do is then bend that back in. And you use flat nose jewellery pliers for this. That's a little long, so I'm just going to snip a bit more of that off. And you want to bend it through just a few times. The good thing about wire, and crocheting to be fair, is that you can actually hide a multitude of sins in the twists. Right. So there we go. 1 crocheted wire bracelet. And I'm Naim Rosebury. My business is Carla Crafts, and my website is www.folksy.com/shops/Carla Crafts. Thank you very much.